Oklahoma Republican Senator James Lankford. Senator, what do you think of that? That he makes more progress talking to the Chinese than he does the two leading Democrats on Capitol Hill. What do you think?
Well, I think that's a good signal for our negotiations with the Chinese on trade policy. I'd take that as a good hint that we're making progress there, because it doesn't seem like we're making progress at all with the Democratic leadership in the House and the Senate. They basically said nothing, and the president said, no, we're going to do something. So we'll see if they can actually fix this.
You know, what is the hang-up for the time being? I know if we're to believe these reports that came out of the White House where the president walked out of the room, which is a little weird. You think about it, it's his room. But he did it anyway because he said that they showed no willingness to even address this wall issue, whatever we're calling it now. They claimed that they first wanted to get the government shutdown done before they talked about anything. Again, he's going back to this argument you wouldn't even broach the subject that I thought was at the heart of this, that is the wall. What is it?
Right. And I would say Democrats are unwilling to be able to even discuss fencing, any kind of pedestrian barrier. Anytime it comes up, they're saying, no, we don't need to do any of that. Clearly, we do in urban areas. When you have a quick movement from one country to the next, from Mexico into the United States in an urban area, you've got to have some kind of fencing there. This hasn't been controversial in the past. Quite frankly, most of my Democratic colleagues that I've talked to lately have quietly said, I hope the president declares an emergency with this, and they feel like they can just hold out and do nothing, and they'll look strong to their base that they held out. The government will reopen when the president declares a national emergency, and then we can move on. So they're quietly wishing that he would do that emergency, because they feel like they're stuck opposing border security when they really kind of quietly want to do border security, but they feel like their base is telling them not to do anything on it, which I don't think that's where the American people are. I think the American people do want to see border security.
Well, the polls are all over the map on that, to your point, Senator, but I'd be curious what you make of these Republicans who are nervous that this is going to zoom them, and at least 8 House members, Republican members, who want to find a way to get this settled and soon, because it isn't helping the party cause, you say?
Well, I think every person is going to vote for their district, is going to listen to folks in their state or in their district to be able to make that decision. So Republican members that they're hearing from their districts, different messaging, they're going to get a chance to be able to respond back to what it sounds like at home. But the biggest issue that we've all got to face is we have federal workers as of tomorrow that won't get a paycheck. We all want to be able to get that resolved. This does need to come to an end. There's a reason shutdowns don't go past 21 days, because that directly affects federal workers.
Well, this wasn't supposed to happen, right, Senator? I mean,
right.
Mitch McConnell apparently had an understanding, or thought he did, with the White House, that they would go ahead and, you know, get the government open and deal with, you know, the security issues and homeland security itself separately, and the understanding was that that had the acquiescence of the president, and then of course we know what happened since. But
right.
Did Republicans get kind of missed signals from the president?
I don't think we got missed signals from that. I think the president's been very, very clear since the last summer. He said he's not going to sign a bill on appropriations at the end of the year that doesn't have additional border security in it. So he said it over and over again. I think no one believed him at the end of it, is what really happened. And so myself and multiple others that voted against what came through the Senate and said this doesn't deal with border security, this doesn't have the appropriations in it, it's not the right way to be able to go on it. It passes the Senate, goes to the House, and the House says no, obviously, and the president said no to it. But I think the president's been very, very clear on this for a very long time. And anyone now that's saying suddenly this is shocking at the end of the year, the president wants border security, has not been paying attention this year.
We'll watch it closely, Senator. Thanks for taking the time. I appreciate it.
You bet. Thanks.